Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, dear CSA 241 students. In this video tutorial we are going to go through lesson 6, which is going to basically cover the difference between the program and source monitor. What's the difference, how to add markers and work with them, how to insert and move clips, use with track, lock, syncs, and finally how to automate a sequence using or how to create something similar to slideshow actually in Premiere quick and fast. So I'm going to start by opening the project. I'm going to open the project which is lesson 6, which is available in your assets with your book. So basically I'm going to start with the first topic of the lesson, which is what's the difference between program monitor and source monitor. As I explained earlier in this course, the program or the source monitor, let's start with the source monitor, is going to be the window where you can see your inputs. So when you open the project panel and you double click any clip, you're going to see it here in the source monitor. You can select in and out point. As you can see here, there is an in and out point to select part of your clip, and then you add it later on to your sequence for editing. However, the program monitor is going to be it's going to show the results, or in other words, what you are doing here in your sequence. Anything you are doing here in your sequence is going to be showing in the program monitor. So the program monitor is some kind of output, or the source monitor, you can consider it the input. They are very similar. Both of them, they have the play, step forward, step backward, go to the in, go to out, mark in, mark out markers, and so on. The main difference here is with the source monitor, you have the overwrite and insert edit, insert and overwrite, which is used to add your clip, the clip or part of it to your sequence. However, in here, you have left and extract, which is basically removing clip or part of a clip from your sequence, not adding to it. So this is basically the main differences. So jumping to the next topic of this lesson is going to be markers. We are going to work with markers. So to add a marker, you can add markers basically here in the source monitor or in the program monitor, which is basically the sequence. You can add marker by clicking the add marker icon or by using the shortcut, which is M. I'm going to mute the sounds here because it's loud. When I scrub and I move, it's going to be a little bit noisy. So you click here, you can add markers by using shortcut. It's an easier method than adding or using the add marker icon here. Basically, you can change the marker, or you can edit its settings by double clicking the marker from here, and you can give it a name like test, and then you can change its settings, its duration, and make it 1 second. You can give it a description like this is a test marker, and you can change its color. Basically, these colors are related to the marker types. These marker types are explained in the book in more detail. We are going to work only with comment marker in this course, but if you are planning to work with Media Core to create like a video that is divided into chapters or something like this, you might use chapter marker. If you are planning to export your video to be used in Adobe Animate, you can convert your markers or use your markers as a cue point that can be used to control events and interactivity in Adobe Animate CC. But for the purpose of this lesson, we're going to stick to the comment marker. I'm going to click OK. You see that the description is going to be here, test. This is a test marker, basically the name and the description, and the duration that I set. I can change the duration as I want. There is another location where you can change and see your markers, which is available here in the marker, but in this application it's not seeing right now. Basically, I tried some solutions to do that. When you add markers here, basically it's going to show. Now when you click here, you are going to see your markers, or basically are not. You are just seeing whatever you have in the source monitor. It seems there is a bug in the application, or it's not showing the markers of of the sequence. So basically, as you can see here, when you add markers to your inputs, it's going to be added but not to the output. So when I click here, it seems that it's changed, but it's not, because there are 3 here, we have 4, and I can add more. They're not going to be added. Sorry, I'm going to add more. You can see they're not going to be added. So anyway, this was not the case in the previous version. Maybe it's a bug in this version. They're going to be fixed in the first update they're going to launch. So the benefit of marker, as the name implies, they are comment markers. They can be used to comment. For example, if you have a long video with many clips that represent interviews with personnel, employees, or any other persons, you can apply marker for here. Let's say interview with Muhammad, here the interview with Ahmed, with Abdurrahman, with Abdullah, with Sarah, with any name. So it can help you organize your clips in your sequence or even in your source program. So how can we use them? Basically, let's see one of the uses that we can use markers in Premiere other than the comments. Basically, let me go to the sequence called sunset montage. So now I'm going to create, as the name implies, I'm going to create a sunset montage. I'm going to create a slideshow in Premiere without adding manually the images. I'm going to open the folder where my images are available. You can extend the panel and you can select all the images, and then you click here. When you click here, there are several options. This is how you are going to order the images. Is it by selection order or by the sort order? Selection order, right now I selected it sequentially just like the sort order, but you can select it like that. So 3, then 38, then 25, then whatever. Okay, so Premiere will remember the selection order and will add them based on it. But what we want to focus on here is the placement. As you can see, by default it's sequentially, and there is another option, it's called add unnumbered markers, which is disabled right now because we don't have markers yet added. I'm going to add them in a minute. And below it you see that you have the overlap frames, how many frames are going to overlap, the transition, in other words timing. I'm going to press OK, and as you can see here, again I'm going to mute the sound so it will not create a noise. So as you can see here, this is the slideshow that is created. If you have a large number of images, it's much easier to use this technique than adding them yourself and then applying transitions manually. Now what if I have a markers and I want to add the images based on my markers? So I'm going to add a marker here, and then a marker here, and then a marker there. I'm going to just make the distances between them different so you see how they're going to be affected. Right now they are enough. So I'm going to click and use the same setting except for this. I'm going to make it at unnumbered markers. So when you click OK, you see first of all it doesn't start from your playhead, this blue line. It starts from marker 1, and then the second image, marker 2, third image, fourth image, fifth. So you can notice that if the distance between markers are more than 5 seconds, the image will not extend. And why is that? Because by default the still images are 5 seconds. This is based on your Adobe Premiere settings. You can change this, of course. But if you add markers very close to each other, they're going to be less than 5 seconds. Let me right click and show you the speed and the duration. You see it's 1 second 4 frames. However, this is 4 seconds 23 frames, which is almost 5 seconds, because 5 seconds is going to be 24, is going to be 5 seconds. So I told you, you can. This is the default setting for still images duration. You can change this, of course, if you want, from Edit, Preferences, and then you go to the timeline, or you can select basically any one of those, and then after the settings opens, you can go to the timeline, and you see here the still image default duration is 5 seconds. You can change this, or you can change frames. You see it's going to be 150 frames, and you press OK. I'm going to cancel right now, and this is basically everything related to the markers which you need to know in this lesson. The third topic that we need to cover in this lesson is applying sync lock and track locks. I'm going to start with the track locks. Basically, I'm going to open another track. Sorry, not track. I'm going to open another sequence. It's called double identity 2. So if you want to lock a sequence, you simply toggle the track lock. Locking a sequence will keep it visible. I'm going to mute them all. Basically, only those two. So when I scrub, you are not confused or distorted the sound. As you can see, you still can see the video, but you cannot edit it. You cannot select. You cannot do anything with it. So this will protect your clips from accidental editing, especially if you have a big sequence with many clips that could be selected accidentally. So if you want to make them invisible, you have to hide them from here. You have to toggle this eye here. You have to toggle the show hide clip. So the sync lock, what does it do basically? The sync lock means if it is by default, it is on by default. The sync lock means if you affect or if you do editing to one of the tracks, the other track will be affected as well with it, because they are in sync, they are synchronized. So we're gonna show this by applying the effect and see and show you the difference and show you how it's gonna be affected. So when I double click, I'm gonna select one with in and out point here. As you can see now, please pay attention to the V2 track, because I'm gonna edit the V1 track basically. I'm gonna insert, because this is the selected, you see. I'm gonna do an insert edit. You see that when you insert, as we learned in the previous lesson, it's going to be inserted and the rest of the sequence will be shifted forward. So the V2 track also affected, also shifted, even though you didn't add anything to it. You added only to the V1 track. So anyway, what if the sync lock is turned off? Let us undo and see. And you are going to notice the difference right now. I'm going to make this turned off, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the insert edit. At this time, as you can see, the insert edit affected only track 1, which is V1. V2 is not affected. So this is used in some cases. If you want the tracks to be synchronized, you turn it on. If you want them to be desynchronized or unsynchronized, you turn them off. Okay, now the next topic is selecting and moving icons in your sequence. Selecting clips, sorry, not icons. Selecting clips in the sequence is also a simple process. You simply click a clip if you want to select, or window select if you want to select the clip. Now the question here, what if I want to select? What if I want to select the audio or video separately? So to do that, you either click the clip, right click, then unlink them. In this case, you can select them as you see here, or I'm going to undo to keep them linked together. You can hold Alt key and click. You see, when you hold Alt and click, you can select only the audio or only the video. So this is how you're going to select. Of course, if you link them, if you unlink them, you can select and link them again. Okay, moving the clips in your sequence, basically there are a few little things you need to remember when you move. If you move to, sorry, you don't move this line, you need to move, you don't select this line, because if you have the icon like this, you're going to select the opacity of the video basically. I'm going to talk about this when we talk about video effects. You can move it forward, it's not going to be a problem, but it's going to be a problem if you move it backward, because if you move it above any existing clip, it's going to overwrite it. Or you can move it above it and then you press Control to insert edit it, and you do the insert edit, not overwrite edit. So basically these are not linked. I'm going to link them together. Right click, link, because I undo. So there are a few things you need to remember, or you need to practice when you are moving clips using the shortcuts Alt, up, Alt, Shift and Control, and I'm going to ask you to spend some time, practice them, see the effect of each one of those. So for example, if let me just, sorry, I'm going to Alt click those audio clips and I'm going to delete them, and I will zoom a little bit to those 3 clips and show you something. What if I click this, and when you drag you press Alt and Control, what's gonna happen? You see some effect is happened. So sorry for the interruption. So we were talking about moving clips. So as I was saying, try to see the effect of using Alt, Shift and Control, and we're going to discuss this on Teams. I'm going to tell you how they're going to work, and if needed I'm going to send another very short video regarding this, but I want you to go and practice it and see what you can find out. So the other thing is here, if you move your track, if you move your clip to a track which doesn't exist yet, Premiere will automatically create the track for you. This is a very good and quick way to create tracks. But when you move it to the original track, the track that you created will not be deleted. You have to remember this. So you cannot just use this technique to create tracks, then keep them empty. They are not going to be used. And this is also applied for the audio as well. You see, I can select the audio and just move here. It's going to be audio 5. Okay. So this is basically almost everything related to selecting and moving clips in sequence. The last topic of this lesson is going to be removing clips from sequence. How to remove a clip from the sequence? Basically, the easiest way is to delete if you want. You can press Shift to delete, and basically Shift to delete is going to be called triple delete, just like here. It's going to delete the spaces between them. So for example, this, I'm going to Shift to delete. It's going to delete and shift the following clips to fill the gaps. If you click delete only, this is going to only delete the clip. Basically, if you want, for some reason, you can use the left and extract options, but to do this you need to mark your clip. So I'm going to go to markers and I'm going to mark clip or mark selection. I'm going to mark clip. As you can see here, now you can left the clip, or you can let me just activate it, and you can left the clip as you can see here, or you can extract it if you want. This is if you want to mark a clip. You don't have to mark a clip fully. You can just go to endpoint here, and then you can just change it. You see, this is an in and out point. You can left or extract, which is equivalent to delete and shift delete, which is triple delete, and basically you can do it from the right click. You see here, it's telling you always in the lecture because it's easier, better, more efficient way to do things, at least in my opinion. As I always tell you, use the method that makes you comfortable and you think it's good for you to make the job done correctly and fast. Thank you very much for listening. I hope this tutorial was a helpful tool to understand lesson 6. If you have any questions, you can text me, send me any questions, or even screenshots of files that you have issues with. We can fix it on Teams. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.